Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malifaux and my rematch against Insidiously Mad. I couldn't handle the shameful drubbing he gave me in our first match, so I twisted his arm for another one. And so here we go. Terrain is the same, so height 1, severe, climbable, soft cover walls, forest, buildings with impassable walls, climbable, the black bits don't count as anything. Height 3, height 1, hard cover, blocking terrain. Impassable height whatever rocks, probably 5 or something. Impassable blocking pillar, you can see through these hard cover walls. And for deployment I won the flip and decided to choose my side and go first, because I do not want Lilith hiding behind this rock. I've got Chiaki with Pull of the Grave, a Ross and Bell, the Zombie Chihuahua, McMorning with Plastic Surgery, Decaying Aura and Moonlighting. The nights are long in Malifaux. Carrion Emissary with Conflux of Forbidden Knowledge, Rowan Nilsson, the Rafkin ult, and a Nurse and Sebastian with Those Are Not Ours. Insidiously Mad has brought Lily 2, a Ragaru, the Doppelganger, Lilith with Beck and Malifaux, On Wings of Darkness and Living Blade because he wants to try out a Pouncy list. Mysterious Effigy, Primordial Magic, Silurid and another Rougarou, placed here to counter my lone Chiaki on this flank. So my plan for this one is to keep things simple and run in and murder the Neverborn, which is actually a better plan than I thought, because up until the end of turn 2 I thought we were playing Stake a Claim. The idea is to focus on killing and do schemes afterwards when everyone else is dead. So I've gone for Search the Ruins, unusual for me because I normally don't expect to live to the end of the game, but I'm all in. Chiaki's out wide to draw more resources away from the main body of his crew. And if he leaves her to it, then she's just going to score me Leave Your Mark all game. If things go as well as they should in the mosh pit, then I should have plenty of dogs and flesh constructs to break through the lines and start scoring me that at some point. With Collect the Bounty, I should be a bit worried about all the points I could potentially lose to poison, but I'm blissfully unaware at this point. Let's do this. Red Joker's always nice to see, going to try to hang on to that, because it should mean guaranteed flesh construct. I get the initiative, which was big, because I need to stop all my dudes being lured away. So the Carrion Effigy goes and drops his Shards of Kythera down to block the line of sight. Strolls up, and because he's got a good walk and we deployed so close, I can actually just drop a scheme marker within scoring range of the centre right off the bat. At the end of the turn these are going to go away, so that's going to open up the lane for perhaps some charging through. And give me a zombie I can turn into a dog, because my crew really needs dogs. We shuffle around a bit because the train's quite awkward. I move Rafkin up here so that when these disappear I can get a nice swift assault on the main body of the Neverborn crew. He's got so many lures that despite the fact I'd really quite prefer to play cautiously and not overextend McMorning, I've really just got to try to get as many people in as possible, as quick as possible. However, Lilith's noticed her chance, she's just fluttered over here and singled out my low willpower Rafkin for some Tangle Shadowing. I know how annoying it is to waste one of these attacks with Lilith, so I cheat in the Red Joker to make sure that that fails. I'm doing some body language reading and my opponent's not soulstoning and not appearing too concerned, so I'm pretty sure he's got like the 13 of Masks in hand. This forces Lilith to go again. She succeeds, I let it go and swaps in the Primordial Magic for Rafkin. But at least now she's reasonably exposed and has no more attacks to damage me this turn. And I think that is her black jokering the illusionary forests. And get used to seeing those jokers because, oh my goodness, they messed around with this game. Rafkin gets marked for death and they have a pounce party. Crucially, my opponent lured Rafkin before moving Lilitu, so he actually got pushed outside of 1 inch of Lilith, so she couldn't use her pounce. And at the end of the day, Rafkin survives with like 2 or 3 wounds remaining. For my part, the Chihuahua tries to bite the Puke Snake, fails, and just gives it 2 poison. Sebastian then like charges it, or walks around to get it, I can't remember if he could charge. And again fails to do any damage. It's frickin' defense 4, guys. I've just got to add 1 damage and 1 poison, and then I don't have to waste an AP of mornings. But no, we're doing this the hard way apparently. So Morning has to waste his poison push and really not going anywhere. He kills the Primordial and does summon Flesh Construct and moves out super aggressively. I've got to put the pressure on. Over here, Chiaki's moved out super wide and made the Siluriid insignificant. And look how I'm traffic jamming my guys again. I've got to get out of this stupid habit. If anyone's got any good tips for how to avoid doing this, please let me know. So at the end of the turn, McMorning gets another push. I lose the Kythera shards and get a zombie. Various people take poison damage from the Chihuahua. And I'm happy enough that I've had the presence of mind to move McMorning within 8 inches of Sebastian, so I can get my poison push on activating. Turn 2, oh my god, look at that hand. I'm going to toast Lilith top of turn 2. This is so exciting! Right, so let me explain what happened here. I managed to get the initiative. Sebastian walked over to here. He could have gone closer, and should have, but he's currently induction range of Lilith. And then accomplice to McMorning. McMorning pushed to where you see here, took the attack from Lilith, focused so that I could guarantee the severe damage, or with a bit of luck, you never know, could have got the red Joker damage. I then flipped the mother effing black Joker, and my opponent flipped the 10 of masks. So now my attack run is completely screwed up. I've got 1 AP left, and McMorning is effectively melee 4. Oh my god! So to make the best of a bad situation, I rancid transplant Lilith, giving her 6 poison, and then use my 0 action to inject Rafkin and push her over here, dropping a potential leave your mark marker, and just brace for the greatsword. Thinking back, the best thing to have done would have been to rancid transplant Lilith twice, putting her on 12 poison and Rowan now 1 wound remaining, and then expunge her for 10 damage because Rowan's aura gives me +1 to poisoned models when they take damage from an attack action, transforming Lilith into a flesh construct. And I think the only thing he could have done to stop me would be if I black jokered, or if he cheated a red Joker after me at some point when I hadn't. So frustrating! But let's make the most of it. So Lilith then goes and lures Lilith out of Sebastian's induction range. Very clever. But this is the psychology of expunge at work, because it gave me the chance to charge for a 1 AP with Rowan against the poison Lilith. And credit to the lass, she hit really hard. 3 strikes for the minimum 8 damage. Aether Connection really let Lilith soak those, but she's now on 6 damage and an expunge will kill her. Exciting! Rougarou uses its ski mark to heal and push, and does its challenge of the alpha. I think McMorning passes, but Rowan fails and dies. And Insidiously Mad scores Mark for Death. It was going to happen. It then puts a bit of damage on McMorning. And this move was probably mainly to block line of sight to Lilith from the Chihuahua. But despite all my efforts to roadblock myself, Chihuahua just about manages to get the angle and the range. It's freaking tense, but I fail the expunge. I remember Lilith's low willpower, and as soon as I can, I get the bell out and lure her back into induction range from Sebastian. It's a bit dangerous to my models, but if I can keep her in induction range, she's going to have to try to soak up 6 damage this turn, on top of whatever I can do with the emissary, who's lying in wait. But Insidiously Mad is not having that. He goes with the doppelganger, lures Lilith back over here, and then walks her off over here. Boo, shame. So I end up going with the cameo and emissary over here, just dropping my shards, getting ready to turn the next turn zombie into a skin marker or a dog. Lilith finally activates, takes her 1 catalyst damage, puts up the trees, and swings away at McMorning. And that Living Blade greatsword is rough. My soulstones don't have that much juice in them, and I end up in worse shape than she is. Chiaki ties up both the Hound and the Siluriid, and I utterly waste my time trying to stab the Siluriid. I should have just slowed the both of them. And so at the end of the turn, I've got some zombies up, my nurse has run in to start helping McMorning, and he's taken some poison and pushed back through the trees. Both sides taking a breather after a vicious combat. The effigies remove my scheme marker, so it's only the Neverborn that score with Mark for Death and claim the bounty. So pissed at that Black Joker. Turn 3, I'm going to need a better hand than that, and I'm really low on stones. I lose the initiative because doppelganger. Actually no, he might just have legitimately just flipped something high. Lilith goes, she uses Sudden Darkness and charges McMorning. On Wings of Darkness being fantastic here, allowing her to just charge on through. The greatsword chops me down in a single hit, and she decides not to be greedy and jinx Lilith back behind the trees. Okay, I'm not sure about this move. I decided to take the Carrion Emissary off a scheme running duty to try to finish Lilith off. I charge him in, but can't kill her, and but force her to use. Well, I think she's got one stone left. I don't think she takes any damage from this, and then I set up my my shards here, trying to block off her escape, but really probably just blocking my line of sight. And then Lilitu's got her here, luring her back again. Flying just allows her to pass over the models to safety. My Flesh Construct manages to get in for a touchdown and drops a ski marker. The Bell tries to take some flak off Chiaki and lures away the Rogaroo. And this was really dumb. All I needed to do was lure him and then use Undress to put him on slow. Instead, I lured him right on into combat range, whereupon he happily killed that Bell. And now I've got to deal with an undead werewolf about to hit the main body of my crew in the rear or disrupt my scheme marker dropping. Bad move. But I've noticed my opponent has been dropping some pretty heavy cards. He's only got one left, and I decide to go for it. First I have to jink my stupid zombie out of the way, which I've blocked myself. Like, how do I do this every time? Which does give the doppelganger a chance to go, but thankfully, he doesn't use her to plug the line of sight gap. I mean, now looking at it, I might have been able to get within line of sight Lilith around here. But whatever, it's now the Chihuahua's time to be a hero. Go, little doggy, and he is the hero! Oh my goodness, this was even worse luck than my failing to kill Lilith before. He's been patiently sitting on the red Joker in his hand. Lilith has been drawing him a ton of cards through all her sword swiping as he hit that trigger every time, I think. The one card out of 54 that would stop him is the Black Joker, and he flipped the Black Joker. I misspoke before, the Emissary did manage to soak out the last Soulstone from Lilith. And she goes down to their 2 Soulstone Chihuahua. Neither of us could believe it. This was such a crazy, crazy game. Rogaroo's poisoned, is going to take some heavy damage from Sebastian. Didn't have the cards to summon, and I either failed to destroy evidence on this when I could see it, or I couldn't see it and went defensive, I can't remember. Chiaki and the Silhouette are continuing their bust up, and so we end the turn. We both get a master kill, but the Rogaroo took down my Bell. Oh, I'm such an idiot. So the Neverborn score for the strategy, and I finally get a point for Leave Your Mark. We go into turn 4, the game has swung back into the balance, and my cards abandon me. I lose the initiative, my Emissary is dragged into the middle of the throng. Super annoying, as I wanted to drench the middle of the board now with scheme markers. I try to salvage the situation as best I can. I attack the Rogaroo, hit it but don't quite put it on hard to kill. And I think I red jokered the attack and I chose to give it more poison like a fucking idiot instead of getting another attack. And then forgetting about hard to kill, I think it's going to die from poison when it activates, and so I attack the Effigy and fail to hit it. The Emissary is pretty damaged from the Rogaroo's Pounce Strike, and so I've put up my shards here to just at least block the Doppelganger and hope to survive the Rogaroo. Oh, and it looks like Lilitu marked it for death. The Emissary does survive the Rogaroo, and the nurse charges in to hold down this Rogaroo and stop him from, dicking around with my schemes. I severe damage the thing twice, so it takes 2 damage from my injection and 8 poison. Both times I hit the take your meds trigger, and both times I failed. That was freaking ridiculous. Just to add more to the craziness, the Effigy brings down the Emissary with its stupid secret blade of dick. Rogaroo kills the nurse. Chiaki, I think the Silhouette escapes all the way behind this rock. Chiaki chases it and brings it down. Not going to catch up in bounty points though. I think this marker is showing that she got marked for death at some point. Oh, by the way, the Rogaroo went to hard to kill when it activated and then ate its scheme marker to put it back up over hard to kill. It was so frustrating. Sebastian just needed a 5 to destroy the evidence of this and get a Soul Stone, which would allow me to almost certainly summon a dog with a crow, and I failed. So I topped deck the summon on the zombie that was over here and got the 12 of crows for my dog. Fluke-tastic. Doppelganger got herself over here, but failed the disengaging strike from the mindless zombie, even with the negative thanks to camouflage. Not quite sure how she managed to get there, but yeah, fuck it. Maybe I'm misremembering. Pretty sure I'm not, but it was a crazy game. Chihuahua has reapplied the poison to everybody. I've got another scheme marker with my scheme running extraordinaire flesh construct, and dog has positioned for the end game. Rogaru and Doppelganger take induction poison at the end of the turn. Rogaru is now on 1 wound and will die when it activates. I score Leave Your Mark, the Neverborn score the strategy and Mark for Death. And we race into turn 5, desperate to finish the game before the store shuts. And what's happened to my hand? This 9 is it's the one I've kept over from last turn, it seems. The Neverborn get the initiative and the shop is literally shutting around us. The shutters are coming down. And it's such a shame because we weren't able to properly think out our moves and it's really close. In the end, the Doppelganger camouflages, escapes combat and drops a scheme marker within 6 inches of the centre. Chiaki drops a marker of her own, fails to make the Rogaru insignificant I think, but does succeed in slowing it. And the rest is a bit of a jumble to be honest. I think this Rogaru activated and died to the poison aura. I activate my dog to drop another marker and in a move that could have cost me the game, just walk into the centre because I wasn't thinking. My opponent does something very clever with his slow Rogaru. He uses his 0 action challenge of the Alpha, which the Canine Remains passes, allowing the Rogaru to place in base contact with him, as he got the trigger. The plucky doggy survived the attack though, my Flesh Constructs dropped a scheme marker and yeah, we pretty much had to call it there. Looks like Doppelganger and Lilith have already left the table by the time I took this picture. So that is the end of one crazy motherfucker of a game. Real shame we couldn't get to play that last turn properly. I think it would have been a decider. But as it stands, the Neverborn scored 3 points for Claim the Bounty, 3 points for Mark for Death, and no points for Search the Ruins. The Resurrectionists scored no points for Collect the Bounty, 3 points for Leave Your Mark, and 3 points for Search the Ruins, making this game a 6-6 draw. But in my opinion, very much with the advantage to the Neverborn. Seriously fun game this one, and yeah, no, just a nail biter the whole way through. And what the fuck was up with all those jokers? Seriously, Lilith failing her trees here was huge, and I am going to be butthurt over this attack run for years to come. But then again, that was amazing. That little doggy is a fucking hero. Just ridiculous. So I gotta say, after the second game with McMorning, I really like him. Poison is such an extremely fun mechanic to play with, and to be honest, he's so much more forgiving than the Neverborn Masters. I think this is a solid crew. I'd really like to get a second Bell in there somewhere, and really make my lure game dangerous. And I do feel I'm missing some dogs or necropunks or something that can split off from the group and go handle itself on the flanks. I mean, currently I've got Chiaki and Rafkin that can do that job, and they do it well. Chiaki really impressed me this game. But it's a really difficult decision because their talents are so much better in the centre with the rest of the guys. If I can use Sebastian and the Emissary to, as a tag team to pump out some dogs through the shard zombies, then I've covered that weakness and got all the benefits of my toolbox crew. And I think with a bit of practice this could be nasty. I really need to practice positioning my models. I'm so sick of traffic jamming and tripping over my own feet all the time. So I'm going to have to put some serious thought into that. But anyway, that was a really enjoyable game. Crazy, but enjoyable. And I hope you got something out of it too. Until I see you again, catch you on the next one. Take care.